Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise here on Nile TV International, coming to away from the Museum of Islamic Arts in the heart of Cairo. And you know what? Religious tourism is one of the most robust niches of the tourism market. Religious tourism requires special travel, hardly suffers any loss from regional instabilities, because once these tourists have decided to come, they don't change their minds, even regardless of what happens. And religious tourism is an underexploited niche in the view of many experts that, given the right circumstances, could yield a more significant proportion of the country's tourism revenue. We are delighted to host here with us Mrs. Maha Abdel Fattah, tour guide, to highlight this kind of tourism, its importance, its significance, and the efforts exerted here in Egypt to support this type of tourism. Thank you very much, Mrs. Maha, for joining us. Now, what are Egypt's chances to occupy the leading position, or one of the leading positions it deserves when it comes to religious tourism, knowing that Egypt is a place where, all heavenly religions have great symbols here?
Yes, actually we have big chance because there are lots of places that can attract people from different religions. For example, we have Christian places, we have Muslim places, we have Jewish places. So there are lots of things that can attract people from different religions. First of all, Pope of the Vatican has agreed to let Egypt organize a pilgrimage to the sacred places where Virgin Mary stepped, wherever she stepped in her holy trip to Egypt from Jerusalem, approved this pilgrimage or this tour to Egypt. So actually Egypt has prepared security and arrange some places that can receive these people, and they already has done 2 or 3 tours like that. So in the future this is going to be very successful if we can attract tourists of this kind of that is interested to go and visit these places. It's going to be very good. At the same time, now people, Christians also, they love to go to
St. Catherine.
Exactly, to
monastery, of course.
Exactly, they like to climb the mountain first and see the sunrise, and then in the early morning they go and visit the monastery. It's very interesting for them, and it's also attracting even Egyptians and other tourists. I mean, Arab tourists. They like to go and see it. And it's a very rich place by all kinds. The library is the 3rd largest library existed. Very rare manuscripts are there, written in different languages. So this is a very important place as well.
And if we talk about, before we talk about Islamic tourism, and we are here again in the Museum of Islamic Art, and that's specifically an area where a lot can be done. What about the Judaism? We have here like old synagogues, symbolic synagogues, right, in Egypt, as far as the Judaism is concerned?
Yes, actually there were 22 synagogues in Cairo, just in Cairo. And of course, the numbers reduced now, but still there are some very important synagogues that can be visited. For example, in nearby to the area of Qalawun Mosque, there is a very old synagogue, and this synagogue is called Maymun, Ibn Maymun, and it is still working. And the doctor of Saladin was a Jew, and it was named after him actually. So this has existed, and this has been visited. The old synagogue in Old Cairo is also, it's one of the main things in the program of Old Cairo. Tourists go and visit it.
And I think in this area, usually you take a trip. Even some schools used to do that trip. They go through Islamic Cairo, Coptic Cairo, and they visit the synagogue as well.
Exactly.
In that same tour.
Exactly.
Now, if we talk about Islamic tourism, there are many, many areas, I believe. So you walk us through, Mrs. Maha.
Okay. For example, the tourists from Malaysia or from Indonesia, they ask in the programs to go and visit the mausoleum and the mosque of Imam Shafi'i, for example. Sometimes tourists from North Africa, they ask to go to El Hakim Ba'amrillah Mosque, for example. Of course, if tourists come from Iraq, they will be interested to go and visit Ahmad ibn Tulun, and you know that the minaret there is similar or looks like the twisting minaret that was in Samarra in Iraq. So some places attract some nationalities more than others.
I guess Al-Azhar Mosque would attract everyone, Al-Hussein Mosque
Exactly.
as well. We are here inside the Museum of Islamic Art. How do you see this museum, the halls they have, the collections they have, the different pieces they have here in the museum?
It's a marvelous museum. I love it. And a very important characteristic here that it is not depending on Egyptian pieces, but it is displaying pieces from all over the Islamic world. So this is displaying the Islamic art generally, which is very interesting.
Now, as Egypt, the Islamic sites again attract obviously not only Muslim visitors, but non-Muslims as well. How do you see that and the importance of that?
Because actually foreigners, they read lots of books about Egypt and they see the different art, I mean the style, the architecture art from one mosque to another, from one period to another, and so they are interested to go and see different mosques from different periods of Islamic history. Everyone has got its own style. The way of decoration is different, so they are keen to go and see these mosques. Actually, Islamic Museum, the people enjoy very much looking at the pieces, the relics from mosques, the movable mihrabs and things like that. They love it.
Cairo is the city of 1,000 minarets. I'm sure it's much more now. Would you shed light on what you believe are the most important mosques in Cairo?
Sultan Hassan Mosque. This is number one.
Marvelous, yeah, masterpiece.
Number one, because it's reflecting the top of the Islamic architecture. Then I like Rifai Mosque also because it reflects the luxurious of the royal family at that time. You can say Ottoman style. Then Amr ibn al-As Mosque, for example,
yes,
this
sure.
is a very. I know that most of the area is renewed, but when you go deeper and deeper, you will feel the old part of the mosque. You will feel how the wooden roofs were made. The minaret is still there. I mean the mihrab, the minbar, still there. So
Ahmad ibn Tulun Mosque as well.
Ahmad ibn Tulun, of course, 9th century AD.
It's also one of the most beautiful, if you know, architecturally speaking.
Exactly,
I believe.
very spectral, because actually it has got the influence of the Mesopotamian art. So it is marvelous. I think this is one of the greatest mosques that hasn't got enough luck to be visited by tourists. I don't know why.
What about outside of Cairo? Outside of Cairo.
Outside in Alexandria, we have lots of old mosques.
In Tanta maybe as well.
In Tanta as well.
Sheikh probably.
Yes.
So what is the hall that attracted you here the most, Mrs. Maha, and the monuments and the pieces that attracted you personally the most in the Museum of Islamic Arts here?
The Fatimid section, the Mamluk section, some of the relics from the Ayyubid section, very, very interesting for me.
Surely Ramadan or the occasion of the birth of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and other seasons like the greater Bayram and the lesser Bayram are parts of the year when there is greater interest to watch Islamic museums, to visit Islamic museums, to pray, to go to mosques. Egypt has a great tradition, especially in Ramadan. So talk to us, and also in Al-Mulid, or the occasion of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon his birthday. So talk to us, perhaps, Mrs. Maha, about the most important places to visit during Al-Mulid, the Prophet's peace be upon him birthday or birth, and also during Ramadan.
I think the very busiest place in Ramadan is Al-Azhar region, Khan Khalili Market.
Yeah.
People love to go there to pray in Al-Azhar or Al-Hussein, and then to spend some time at the cafe drinking tea with mint or something. So I think this is the most busiest areas. Ramadan has got a special style in Egypt because all the minarets are decorated, lanterns everywhere. So even tourists, when they come to Egypt in this time, they feel it's different than any other spot, any other Islamic even country in preparing for it. The food that is related to it, which is displayed in front of the tourists, so they see the kunavas, while they are making it, the nuts, the things that is related to that month. This is plus the collection of lanterns at the streets with different sizes and colors, which actually also be very attractive to the eyes of tourists.
So do you believe that we still have good potential to increase our market when it comes to religious tourism in Egypt?
I think yes, because usually the Arabian tourists, they love to come to Egypt in Ramadan to enjoy more and to go here and there, and they see that the country is
joyous. It's a joyous atmosphere.
It is
vibrant, lively.
It is when you see that everywhere is lighted and lanterns everywhere, and the people spending night in cafes, so they love to come to enjoy this atmosphere in Egypt.
Yes. How do you think we have fared in dealing with the coronavirus pandemic in the area of tourism? Are we past the worst? Is the worst behind us? How do you see the safety measures that have been implemented everywhere? And when will we get back to full normalcy, Mrs. Maha?
I think we passed the worst period, because actually now the government is encouraging the people to get vaccines, and they are already on their way to take vaccines. Tourists as well has got vaccines before they come, and in all cases people should follow the precautions in order that we can pass together in peace till this
pandemic is over.
Yes,
God willing. Now, finally, Egypt is listed as one of the top destinations in 2021. How do you see this? And I want to ask you also about what do you expect for GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum? I guess this is an event we Egyptians and the whole world is waiting for.
That's true. Everyone abroad is waiting for the opening of the GEM. This is plus that the Museum of Egyptian Civilization also is attracting tourists nowadays to go and visit it, and I think it is done in a very nice way. It attracted us as Egyptians too. So lots of Egyptians. I mean,
Families, we see
yes,
a lot of families.
lots of families went there, and they still keen to go and take their children and have a look there. So this is one step that is forward. Tourists are waiting for the gem, of course, and this is going to be a very, very big,